Hello, my name is Arthur, and in this video we're going to do a little bit of hotkeys. So I've added in the key press event signal to the make notebook function, which is where we'll be looking for the key press event. And I've added in the function to receive the key press event. Then what we're going to need from there is we're going to need to do an include. So let's have a look at what we're including, and it would be good to have it open as a reference anyways. So inside our file system, user, include, GTK3, GDK, there's a file called GTK GUI HotKeys. So this is the file that has all of the key definitions and the one that we need to include. So we'll include that right here. Include GDK slash GTK GUI .h. And let's just check I named that right. That looks good. So what we'll do with that is we'll use it to see what key was pressed. So we'll be looking for 6 different key presses, because what we're going to do is we're going to do the larger, smaller, and normal size text functions, and then maybe we'll do new document. And new document only has 1 key to check. But in the event of control plus, minus, and 0 on a regular keyboard, we have 2 different places that can happen. It can also happen on the number pad. So how we'll do that is we'll do it through a switch. And we'll be looking at the GTK event key. So in that event, we can look at the key val, to see what key was pressed. And let's not forget our brackets here. So we would have a number of cases. So let's get over to that. So we have, on the regular keyboard, we think of it as control plus, but it's actually control equal, because plus is a next level key. So it requires shift to be pressed. So control equal, control 0, and control minus are 3 of our keys. And then if we were to scroll up, there's also the KP. So JDK KP, let's see, we have add, subtract, and 0. So that would equal the 6 different keys that might get pressed. So let's do case GTK key equal and case GTK keypad KP add. So in the event that of one of those 2 cases, we want to look at the state. So we go event So if event state and GTK control mask. Now I think with my simple needs for this, this could actually and possibly be leaving open that things like Control Alt plus would do the same thing. But because I'm not going to have a hotkey for Control Alt plus, it's not really going to have any bearing. So at this point, we're just looking at the functions we want to call. So let's just grab our functions here. So we're going to just copy this part and we'll paste it down where we're working. We'll comment it out. So we'll just comment that, paste it, and then comment it in and out. So if the control key was being pressed at the same time as equal and add, we would call for the text to get larger. Then we can just break, and that should get us the first step of the way. So these we can just copy. So we're going to copy these. Whoops. And we'll go back and we'll paste. And we'll go back. We'll go back. And we'll paste. And this one got a little out of whack. So this one would be key minus. On the number pad, it's called subtract. Yeah, it's good to notice that on the number pad ones, there are capital letters to go with those. And this would be text smaller. And the other one will be text normal. So we can just get that. Then we don't really need this anymore. Just a little bit of lazy scripting. There we go. Okay, so we have minus, subtract, and these ones are both just as 0. So we'll just go 0 and 0. Then let's go down one and leave a space for inserting other ones, because we might want to do case GTK N and make that a new document, or Control S as save. We'll just stick with the larger and smaller, and this gets across the idea of how to do it. So okay, so that looks good. Let's see, undeclared. Did you mean? Oh, there's a spelling mistake there, that's all. Okay, let's try that again. That compiles. So let's load up something like our general text test document. We have Control plus, we have Control minus, We have Control plus on the keypad, Control 0, Control minus on the keypad, Control 0 on the keypad, or number pad. So those all seem to be working, and yeah, those all seem to be working. Looks good. Really, about the only thing that I've noticed is that I did experiment with doing Control N, and it could open a document, except if I closed all the documents. Because apparently right now, the notebook doesn't exist. So it left kind of a place where a hotkey wouldn't create a document, but the button would. So I don't really have a solution for that. I'm not really sure why the notebook stops to exist when there's no tabs. When there's no pages in it, though, the key press signal breaks down when it's attached in here. I did try putting the key press event onto the larger window, and what happened was I couldn't type at all. So that's not really an acceptable solution, but for what we're doing here is more general and basic. So yeah, it works for the general and basic usage, and with some limitations. So, and that would be the limitation, is when the window has no tabs in it, none of the key press events are being measured anymore. So yeah, about the last thing here would be just a revisit on the last video with a little bit of CSS type of stuff. So we gave the application some colors, and I expanded a little bit. I found that I could get this bar here to match up with my menu and toolbar. As well, I changed the color of the boxes that the search and the replace bar are sitting in. So I did that by giving them a specific name and changing their color by name. And for the notebook, on the notebook, the top bar is called its header, so I could just change its color. So I set it up like that. We have the tab label, the close button, we did that in the last video, we did these in the last video. The menu bar, I decided to change its color to the color it already was. That way it's not depending on the operating system deciding that color. I did the toolbar buttons, and I gave them a color because I was experimenting with the other buttons, and just doing button would change the color of the toolbar button. But I ended up taking out the other buttons and just leaving them handled by the default theme for the operating system. And on the toolbars, I gave them a color. I gave them the hover color, and I gave them the active color. So when we press them, they take on a similar color to, well, not really similar. I could replicate this color using the color picker in GIMP, but I just gave them a lighter color to indicate they were pressed, kind of deal. And yeah, then this is the boxes for the search bars. So that was all my changes. I'm satisfied with the way this is looking now, and yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do next in this project. My other project was working on syntax highlighting just in C. So just kind of writing my own little syntax highlighting thing. I don't know if people are very interested in that. And yeah, that's about it. I was looking a little bit into um, spell checking, and apparently there is something for Linux called a spell, and I've been trying to look and see if that can function for me and how difficult it would be to get it to function, if that's something that's inside of my ability level at this point. But yeah, it's not all that easy to find the different things that I'm looking for at this point. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. Is I'm not really sure what I'm going to do next, or if there's any interest in videos about very limited syntax highlighting for one language. And I really just took on that project myself to for a challenge project so that I could learn a little bit about C and GTK. So that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful, and until the next video, take care.